Please, just let me inside. I'll pay. I have nowhere else to go. The apartment manager blocked the door. Homeless people don't get in here. Go back to the shelter where you belong. I'm not homeless. I just need... Look at yourself. Blood on your face. Clothes torn. You think I'm stupid? He spat on the ground. We don't want your kind in this building. Try the black neighborhood across town. They take in trash like you. She stumbled away, bleeding, freezing, desperate. Door after door slammed in her face, until she saw one light. 4th floor. The only window glowing in a dark building called Grayson Heights. She climbed 4 flights of stairs and knocked. The man who opened that door was a single black father with $11 to his name and one last meal in his kitchen. He didn't know she was worth billions. But that single knock would destroy his secrets, test his soul, and rebuild his entire family from the ashes. To understand why Lamar Turner opened his door that night, you need to understand who he was and what he was running from. Soul and Spice Restaurant, 10:30 p.m. earlier that evening. The kitchen was hot. Grease popped on the stove. Lamar moved like a machine, chopping, stirring, plating. His hands were fast, precise, the hands of a man who'd been cooking professionally for 8 years. But if you looked closely, you'd see something else. A scar, long and jagged, running across his right knuckle. Jerome Wilson, head chef and Lamar's best friend, watched him from across the kitchen. You still work like you're running from something, man. Lamar didn't look up. I'm running from bills, that's all. Jerome laughed, but his eyes were serious. I've known you 10 years, Lamar. You never talk about your life before Janelle. One day, you're going to have to face whatever you're hiding. Lamar's hand stopped moving, just for a second. That part of me is dead. Dead things don't stay buried forever. Lamar said nothing. He packed the leftover pasta into a container. His dinner. Maya's breakfast tomorrow. Behind him, the TV in the kitchen played the evening news. He didn't notice, but the screen showed a photograph. A young woman in an elegant gown, platinum bracelet on her wrist. The headline read, Sinclair heiress missing after calling off wedding. Lamar grabbed his bag and left. Grayson Heights, 11:15 p.m. The rain had started. Lamar climbed the stairs to the 4th floor. The elevator had been broken for 3 months. Nobody in this building could afford to complain. He knocked on apartment 4A. Mrs. Lorraine Patterson opened the door. 72 years old. Smile like warm bread. There you are, son. Maya fell asleep on my couch around 9. Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. I don't know what I'd do without you. Don't mention it. That child is an angel. Lamar scooped up his sleeping daughter, 6 years old, braids tied with pink ribbons, clutching a worn stuffed rabbit named Honey. Mrs. Patterson watched them go. Then she pulled out her phone. Nothing new, she whispered into the receiver. He's home. Same routine. She hung up, her face tight with something that looked like guilt. Lamar's apartment. 11:45 p.m. The apartment was small, but clean. Every surface wiped down, every photo frame dusted. And there were many photos. All of them showed the same woman. Beautiful, radiant, smiling like she held the sun in her chest. Janelle Turner, Lamar's wife. Dead 2 years now. He tucked Maya into bed, kissed her forehead. Daddy? Yeah, Princess? I dreamed about Mommy. She said she wants you to be happy. Lamar's throat tightened. Mommy always wanted me happy, baby. Maya smiled, already drifting back to sleep. Lamar walked to the kitchen, sat at the table, pulled out his wallet, $11. He stared at the stack of bills on the counter. Electric, water, medical. One envelope caught his eye. The logo read, Sinclair Medical Center, the hospital where Janelle spent her final months. The only hospital that accepted patients who couldn't pay full price. Lamar opened the container of pasta, divided it in half. One portion for him tonight, one for Maya's breakfast. This was his life now. Counting dollars, splitting meals, surviving. He touched the chain around his neck. Janelle's wedding ring hung there. He hadn't been able to take it off, not yet. His fingers found the scar on his hand, an old habit. He always touched it when the memories tried to surface. A flash of images, blood, screaming, the crack of bone, handcuffs clicking shut. Lamar closed his eyes. 8 years, he whispered. It's over. It's done. But Jerome's words echoed in his mind. Dead things don't stay buried forever. Knock, knock, knock. Lamar's eyes snapped open. 11:52 p.m. Who would come to his door this late? He stood, walked to the door, looked through the peephole, and his blood turned cold. A woman, young, maybe 30. Her face was swollen, purple bruises around her neck, shaped like fingers. Blood dripped from a gash on her forehead. Her clothes were expensive, but torn, soaked through. Her wrist had a raw red mark, like something had been ripped away, and her eyes, God, her eyes. They were the eyes of someone who had nowhere left to run. Please, she whispered through the door. He's coming for me. Please help me. Her legs buckled. She collapsed against his door. Lamar looked at her, looked at Maya's bedroom door. His hand found the scar on his knuckle. Every instinct told him to walk away. Call the police. Don't get involved. But then he saw the bruises again. Someone had done that to her. Someone had wrapped their hands around her throat and squeezed. Lamar knew that kind of violence. He'd been capable of it once. He opened the door. He had no idea that the woman bleeding on his doorstep was running from a $2 billion empire. And he had no idea that saving her would cost him everything he'd built, including the secret he'd buried for 8 years. Lamar caught her before she hit the ground. She weighed almost nothing, like a bird with broken wings. He carried her inside, laid her on the couch, grabbed a clean towel from the bathroom. When he moved toward her to wipe the blood from her face, she flinched, hard. Her arms flew up to protect herself, her whole body curled inward, the reaction of someone who expected to be hit. Lamar froze. He knew that reflex. He'd seen it before. In shelters, in support groups, in the eyes of women who had learned that love came with fists. He stepped back, raised his hands slowly. I'm not going to hurt you, he said softly. I don't hit women. Ever. I won't touch you unless you say it's okay. The woman opened her eyes, wild, terrified. But something in his voice made her pause. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't mean to. Don't apologize. You're safe here, I promise. She studied his face, the small apartment, the photos of Janelle everywhere. Something in her shoulders released, just a fraction. Thank you, she breathed. Thank you. Mrs. Patterson appeared in the doorway. She'd heard the commotion. Come to investigate. When she saw the woman on Lamar's couch, her expression flickered, just for a moment. Recognition? Fear? It was gone before Lamar could name it. Lord have mercy, Mrs. Patterson said. What happened to this poor child? Someone beat her. She showed up at my door. Did you call the police? The woman's eyes went wide with terror. No! She grabbed Lamar's arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. No police, please, he'll find me. He has people everywhere. Lamar and Mrs. Patterson exchanged a look. Okay, Lamar said. No police, not tonight. Mrs. Patterson moved closer, studied the woman's face. Something passed behind her eyes, something calculating. "Let her stay here tonight," Mrs. Patterson said. "I'll bring some bandages and clean clothes. We can figure out the rest in the morning." "Thank you," the woman whispered. Mrs. Patterson left, but in the hallway she pulled out her phone again. "It's me," she said quietly. "There's a situation. A young woman just showed up at Lamar's apartment. She's injured, beaten badly, and I think it's her." She listened to the voice on the other end. "Yes, I'm certain. I'll keep watching." She hung up, took a breath, walked back inside with bandages and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. By 2 a.m., the woman was cleaned up. The cut on her forehead wasn't deep. The bruises would heal. But the fear in her eyes, that would take longer. Lamar sat across from her, keeping his distance, giving her space. "You don't have to tell me anything," he said. "But if you want to talk, I'll listen." She was quiet for the long moment. "Why did you let me in?" "What do you mean?" "A stranger, bleeding, in the middle of the night." She looked at him. "Most people would have called the cops or shut the door. You didn't even hesitate." Lamar thought about it. The real answer was complicated. It involved Janelle, and the person he used to be, and the man he was trying to become. But he gave her the simple version. "My wife used to say something. We don't help people because we know them. We help because we can." Tears spilled down the woman's cheeks. "That's beautiful." She was beautiful, inside and out. Was. She passed 2 years ago. "I'm sorry." Lamar touched the ring on his chain. "Me too." They sat in silence. The rain hammered against the windows. The city felt very far away. "My name is Livy," she finally said. "Thank you for saving me." "Lamar, and you don't need to thank me. Just rest. We'll figure out the rest in the morning." She nodded. Her eyes were already closing, exhaustion pulling her under. Lamar covered her with a blanket, turned off the lights. He sat in the kitchen, watching over her. This stranger in his home. His hand found the scar on his knuckle again. He told himself he was doing the right thing. He didn't know that by morning, everything would change. He didn't know that the woman sleeping on his couch was worth more money than this entire neighborhood combined. And he didn't know that someone was already coming for her. Someone who would burn down everything Lamar loved to get her back. She called herself Livy. She said she had nowhere to go. Both of those things were lies. But the truth was worse than Lamar could have ever imagined. 6:30 a.m. The next morning. Maya woke up first. She padded out of her bedroom in her favorite unicorn pajamas, rubbing sleep from her eyes, Honey the rabbit dangling from her hand. Then she saw the stranger on the couch. She didn't scream, didn't run. Maya Turner was 6 years old, and she had inherited her mother's fearless heart. She walked right up to the couch and stared. Olivia's eyes fluttered open. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then she saw the little girl, the braids, the curious eyes, the stuffed rabbit. "Hi," Maya said. "Who are you?" Olivia sat up slowly. "I'm a friend of your daddy's." "How come your face is purple?" "I fell down." Maya nodded seriously. "I fell down once, at the playground. It hurt really bad." She held out her rabbit. "This is Honey. She makes the hurt go away. You can borrow her." Olivia looked at the worn stuffed animal, the button eyes, the patched ear. Something cracked inside her chest. When was the last time anyone had offered her something so pure, so freely given? No strings, no agenda, just kindness. Thank you, Olivia whispered. Her voice caught. That's very sweet. Daddy says we help people because we can. That's what Mommy taught him. Olivia clutched the rabbit, tears burning behind her eyes. Your mommy sounds wonderful. She was. She's in heaven now. Maya leaned closer. But I still talk to her sometimes. She talks back in my dreams. Lamar appeared in the kitchen doorway. He'd been up for hours, couldn't sleep, too many thoughts. Maya, don't bother our guest. She's not bothering me, Olivia said quickly. She's wonderful. Maya beamed, then her stomach growled. Daddy, I'm hungry. What's for breakfast? Lamar walked to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator. Empty. Opened the cabinet. A few ramen packets, a can of beans. That was it. And the pasta. The one container he'd brought home last night. The one meal that was supposed to last them both. He looked at Maya, looked at Olivia. His daughter needed to eat. But their guest hadn't eaten in God knows how long, the way she'd looked at that couch, like she hadn't slept somewhere safe in weeks. Lamar made his decision. He heated up the entire container of pasta, split it onto 2 plates, one for Maya, one for Olivia. Nothing for himself. He brought the plates to the table. Eat up, princess. Maya dug in happily. Olivia stared at her plate, then at the empty kitchen, then at Lamar, who was drinking black coffee. No food. This is yours, she said. This is your food. I already ate. No, you didn't. Lamar said nothing. Olivia looked at the tiny apartment, the bills on the counter, the empty refrigerator, the single father who had just given away his last meal. Why? She whispered. You don't even know me. You needed it more. But your daughter... I'll figure something out, I always do. Olivia's hands trembled. She picked up the fork, took a bite, and cried. She couldn't help it. The tears just came. This man had nothing. $11 in his wallet, a child to feed, bills he couldn't pay, and he'd given her everything. She'd spent her entire life surrounded by wealth, billionaires, power brokers, people who had everything. Not one of them had ever sacrificed anything for her. Not one. I'm sorry, she said, wiping her face. I don't know why I'm crying. It's okay, Lamar said. Sometimes kindness breaks us open, means we've been closed for too long. Maya looked up from her plate. Don't cry, Miss Livy. Daddy's food is really good. You should smile. Olivia laughed through her tears. You're right. I should smile. After breakfast, Lamar checked his wallet again. $11. Enough for groceries if he was careful. Enough to get through another day. He grabbed his jacket. I need to run to the store. Maya, stay with Miss Livy. Can you do that? Maya nodded enthusiastically. We're gonna play dolls. Olivia felt a flash of panic. You trust me? You don't even know me. Lamar paused at the door. I know enough. I know you're scared. I know someone hurt you. I know you're not going to hurt my daughter. He met her eyes. I'm a pretty good judge of character. Comes from making a lot of wrong choices when I was young. He left. Olivia sat very still. His words echoed in her mind. Wrong choices when I was young. She looked at her hands, then at the little girl already pulling out a box of dolls. She looked at the photos on the wall, the beautiful woman who smiled from every frame, Lamar's wife, Maya's mother. She looked at the hospital bill on the counter, and she froze. The logo. Sinclair Medical Center. Her father's hospital. The one Richard Sinclair built. The one his foundation funded. The program that helped families who couldn't afford treatment. Her father had been dead for 2 years, but his legacy was still saving people. People like Lamar, people like Janelle. Something clicked into place. Something that felt like fate. This isn't random, she thought. This can't be random. Miss Livy? Are you okay? Olivia blinked. Maya was staring at her. Yes, sweetheart. I'm okay. She forced a smile. Let's play dolls. But her mind was racing. She'd run from her old life. Run from Julian. Run from Victoria. Run from everything. And somehow, she'd ended up here. In the home of a man whose wife was saved by her father's hospital. Coincidence? Or something else entirely? She didn't have time to answer. Because right now, somewhere in the city, Julian Mercer was hunting for her, and he was getting closer. She thought she'd escaped. She thought she was safe. But the man who'd hurt her was already on his way, and he wasn't coming alone. Day 2, 4:30 p.m. Mrs. Patterson sat in her apartment. TV on, volume low. She was waiting. She'd made 3 calls in the past 24 hours, each one more urgent than the last. On the screen, the news anchor was speaking. The search continues for Olivia Sinclair, the 30-year-old heiress to Sinclair Holdings. Miss Sinclair has been missing for 72 hours after reportedly calling off her engagement to Julian Mercer. Mr. Mercer has offered a substantial reward for any information leading to her safe return. A photograph filled the screen. Olivia Sinclair, in a silk gown, diamond earrings, platinum bracelet on her wrist. She looked like a princess. Mrs. Patterson heard footsteps on the stairs. She turned. Olivia was coming down from Lamar's apartment. Their eyes met. Mrs. Patterson looked at the TV, looked at Olivia. "You're her," Mrs. Patterson whispered. "You're Olivia Sinclair." Olivia's face went pale. She turned, started to run. "Wait!" Mrs. Patterson grabbed her arm. "I'm not going to turn you in, but you need to tell Lamar the truth." "I can't. If he knows who I am, he deserves to know. That man has given you everything he has. His food, his home, his trust." Mrs. Patterson's eyes were hard. "Don't repay him with lies." Olivia pulled away, disappeared upstairs. Mrs. Patterson watched her go. Then she pulled out her phone. "She's definitely the Sinclair girl. What do you want me to do?" Olivia isn't homeless. She's running from something. That night, 8:00 p.m. Lamar came home to find Olivia sitting in the dark. "Everything okay?" She didn't answer. Her face was wet with tears. "Livy? That's not my real name." Lamar set down his bag, sat across from her, waited. "My name is Olivia. Olivia Sinclair." The name meant nothing to him. He didn't follow rich people's drama. "Sinclair Holdings," she continued. "My father built it. $2.3 billion. When he died 2 years ago, I inherited everything." Lamar's eyebrows shot up. "You're a billionaire?" "On paper. In reality, I'm a prisoner." She met his eyes. "My stepmother controls the company until I get married or turn 31. My ex-fiancé is the man who gave me these bruises, and right now both of them are hunting me." Silence filled the room. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because everyone I've ever trusted used me. For my money. For my connections. For access to my name." Her voice cracked. "When you opened your door, you didn't know who I was. You helped me because I was hurt, not because I was rich." Lamar was quiet for a long moment. "So what happens now? They're looking for you. There's probably a reward." Olivia flinched. "How much do you need? Whatever it is, I can—" "Stop." She stopped. "I told you before. I don't sell people." Lamar leaned forward. I don't care if you're worth $2 or $2 billion. You needed help. That's enough for me. Olivia stared at him. In her entire life, she'd never met anyone like him. Why? She whispered. Why are you like this? Lamar's hand moved to the scar on his knuckle. Because I wasn't always this way, and someone gave me a second chance when I didn't deserve it. He paused. Her name was Janelle, and she saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. Olivia wiped her tears. What did she see? That broken people can heal, if someone believes in them. The words hung in the air. Olivia thought about Julian, about Victoria, about every person who'd ever claimed to love her. None of them had ever said anything like that. Thank you, she said finally, for believing in me, even when I lied. Don't thank me yet. Lamar stood. We need to figure out a plan, because whoever's hunting you, they're going to find this place eventually. He didn't know how right he was. Olivia is a billionaire heiress, heir to Sinclair Holdings. She'd told him the truth about her name, but she hadn't told him everything, because the man who'd hurt her was already on his way, and he was bringing something that would tear Lamar's world apart. Day 3, 2:15 p.m. Lamar was at work when it happened. Maya and Olivia were playing in the apartment, drawing pictures, making up stories. For a few hours, Olivia forgot she was running. Then she heard voices in the hallway. A man's voice, smooth, cultured, cold. I'm looking for my fiancée, Olivia Sinclair. I have reason to believe she's in this building. Olivia's blood turned to ice. Julian. She grabbed Maya, pulled her into the bedroom, locked the door. Miss Livy? Maya whispered. What's wrong? Shh, baby. Stay very quiet. Don't make a sound. Through the thin walls, she heard Mrs. Patterson's voice. I don't know anyone by that name. Really? Julian's voice dripped with false politeness. Because I have sources that say otherwise. Your sources are wrong. Now please leave before I call the police. A pause. Then footsteps. Moving away. Olivia didn't move, didn't breathe. After 10 minutes, she crept to the window. Julian was getting into a black car, but before he did, he looked up, directly at the 4th floor, directly at her window, and he smiled. On his wrist, she saw something that made her stomach turn. Her platinum bracelet, the one he'd ripped from her arm the night she ran. He was wearing it like a trophy. Julian has found her location. That night, 9:00 p.m. Lamar came home to find Olivia shaking. He was here. Julian. He found me. Lamar's jaw tightened. Did he hurt you? Maya? No. Mrs. Patterson sent him away. But he'll be back. Then we need to get you out of here. I can't keep running. Olivia grabbed his arm. And I can't keep putting you in danger. Let me worry about that. No, you don't understand. She pointed to the hospital bill on the counter. Lamar, your wife. She was treated at Sinclair Medical Center? Yeah. It was the only place that would take her. They had this program for people who couldn't afford full treatment. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. My father created that program. He built that hospital. He believed everyone deserved care, regardless of money. She paused. He died 2 years ago, the same time your wife was being treated. Lamar felt something shift in his chest. Your father saved Janelle? His program gave her 6 more months. 6 months to say goodbye, to be with Maya, to be with you. Silence. Lamar touched the ring on his chain. She had time, he whispered. Because of him, she had time to prepare us. I think there's a reason I ended up here, Lamar. I don't believe in coincidences. Neither did he. Not anymore. Olivia's father saved Janelle's life. They were connected before they ever met. Fate had brought them together, but fate wasn't finished yet. Because the person Lamar trusted most was about to betray him, and his darkest secret was about to be exposed. Day 5, 11 o'clock a.m. Lamar got a phone call that changed everything. It was Jerome. His voice was urgent. Lamar, listen to me carefully. Julian Mercer didn't find Olivia by accident. Someone in your building told him where she was. Lamar's grip tightened on the phone. What are you talking about? I have a friend who works security at Sinclair Holdings. He showed me some documents. Victoria Sinclair, Olivia's stepmother. She owns Grayson Heights. Has for 5 years. She owns my building? And she has someone inside. Someone who's been reporting to her for years, watching the tenants, sending updates. Jerome paused. The name in the file is L. Patterson. The phone nearly slipped from Lamar's hand. No, you're wrong. I'm not wrong, man. Mrs. Patterson has been working for Victoria this whole time. She's the one who told them Olivia was with you. Lamar found Mrs. Patterson in her apartment. She was sitting in her usual chair, knitting, like nothing was wrong. You, Lamar said. His voice was barely controlled. You told them where she was. Mrs. Patterson's hands stopped moving. Lamar, let me explain. Explain what? His voice cracked. You've been watching me for years, reporting on me, on Maya. And when Olivia showed up, you sold her out. Mrs. Patterson started to cry. They threatened to evict everyone. Victoria owns this building. If I didn't cooperate, she was going to throw all of us out on the street. You, Maya, everyone. So you chose to betray us instead? I chose to protect you. I thought if I gave them small things, they'd leave us alone. I never thought anyone would get hurt. Olivia almost died because of you. I know. Mrs. Patterson's voice broke. I know. And I'm sorry. I was scared. I've lived alone for 40 years. This apartment is all I have. I was afraid of losing everything. Lamar stared at her. This woman who'd watched Maya since she was a baby, who'd been there when Janelle died, who he'd trusted like family. I looked you in the eyes, he said quietly, every single day, and you lied to me. Every single time. He turned and walked away. Mrs. Patterson called after him. Lamar, please, I made a mistake, please. He didn't look back. Mrs. Patterson is Victoria's spy. Same day, 3 o'clock p.m. Lamar returned to his apartment, still reeling. But Julian Mercer was waiting for him, sitting on the couch, legs crossed, smile like a snake. And he wasn't alone. 2 large men stood by the door. Mr. Turner, Julian said smoothly, we finally meet. Get out of my house. In a moment. First, I have something to show your lovely house guest. He looked at Olivia, who was pressed against the wall. Come sit, darling. You'll want to see this. He pulled out a folder, tossed it on the coffee table. Do you know who you've been trusting, Olivia? This noble, humble, single father? He spread the papers out. Mugshots, court documents, prison records, all of them with Lamar's face. 8 years ago, your hero here was arrested for aggravated assault. He beat a man so badly he shattered his cheekbone, fractured his eye socket, and put him in the hospital for 3 months. Olivia's face went white. That scar on his hand? That's where his knuckles split open from punching a man's face. Julian leaned back. He spent 2 years in prison. 2 years. For nearly killing someone with his bare hands. Olivia looked at Lamar. Is this true? Lamar's voice was heavy. Yes. You beat someone almost to death? He was attacking Janelle. Lamar's eyes were haunted. He followed her home one night, tried to assault her. I walked in and I lost control. I couldn't stop hitting him, even after he stopped moving. Silence. Julian smiled triumphantly. You see, Olivia? He's no different from me. We're both violent men. At least I never went to prison for it. Olivia stood frozen, torn between two realities. The man who'd saved her, who'd given her his last meal, who'd treated her with nothing but kindness. And the man in those photos, young, angry, capable of terrible violence. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. Because I was ashamed. Lamar's voice cracked. Because I spent 8 years trying to be someone else. Someone Janelle could be proud of. Someone Maya would never have to fear. He met her eyes. I didn't tell you because I thought, if you knew what I was capable of, you'd never look at me the same way again. Olivia said nothing. Julian stood, straightened his jacket. Come with me, Olivia. Come home. These people can't protect you. Olivia looked at Lamar, at Maya's bedroom door, at the photos of Janelle on the walls. Then she looked at Julian, at the bruises on her own wrists, at the cold calculation in his eyes. I need time, she said. I need to think. She walked out the door. Julian followed, smiling. Lamar watched her go, his heart shattering. Maya ran out of her room. Daddy, where's Miss Livy going? Lamar knelt down, wrapped his arms around his daughter. I don't know, baby. I don't know. Lamar has a violent past. He served 2 years in prison for nearly killing a man. She was gone. His secret was exposed, and Lamar thought he'd lost everything. But Julian wasn't finished, because the monster was about to do something unforgivable, something that would bring Lamar's greatest fear to life. And day 7, 3:30 p.m. 2 days passed. Lamar went through the motions, working, cooking, caring for Maya. But part of him was hollow. He hadn't heard from Olivia. He tried not to think about where she was, what Julian might be doing to her, whether she hated him now. Mrs. Patterson tried to approach him twice. Both times he walked away without a word. He was picking up Maya from school when it happened. His phone rang, an unknown number. Mr. Turner? The voice was Mrs. Patterson, hysterical, sobbing. Lamar, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What's wrong? Maya. They took Maya. The world stopped. What? Julian came. He had men with him. I tried to stop them. I tried. She was screaming now. They grabbed her and put her in a car. She was screaming for you. She was screaming for her daddy. Lamar couldn't breathe. Where did they take her? I don't know, Lamar. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. This is all my fault. He hung up. His daughter was gone. Julian Mercer had taken his 6-year-old daughter. Olivia received the call 30 minutes later. Julian's voice was ice cold. You have 2 hours. Come back to me. Sign the marriage papers, or the little girl disappears. She's 6 years old. She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this. You made her matter when you stayed in that man's apartment. Now she's leverage. Julian, please. 2 hours, Olivia. The Mercer estate. Don't be late. Olivia arrived at the estate alone. Julian was waiting in the study. Contract on the table. Pen beside it. And in the corner, tied to a chair, was Maya. Tears streaming down her face. Honey the rabbit clutched to her chest. Livy, Maya sobbed. I want my daddy. I want to go home. Olivia's heart shattered. Let her go. I'll sign whatever you want. Julian slid the papers toward her. Marriage contract. Sign here. And here. Olivia picked up the pen, her hand shaking. She signed, Now release her. Julian laughed. After the wedding is finalized, she stays with us until then. Insurance. You promised! I lie. It's what I do best. Maya was crying harder now. Miss Livy, help me, please! Olivia looked at the child, at the monster in front of her, at the bottle of pills on Julian's desk, his sleeping medication. She recognized it. In that moment, she made a decision. She grabbed the bottle, twisted off the cap. Olivia! No! She swallowed every single pill. Julian lunged for her. Too late. Olivia smiled. If I die, you get nothing. The entire fortune goes to charity. Every single penny. Her eyes rolled back. She collapsed. Julian kidnaps Maya. Olivia kills herself to stop Julian. Hospital. 6:00 p.m. Detective Amanda Collins delivered the news. She found Lamar at the police station. He'd been there for hours, demanding answers, threatening to tear the city apart. Mr. Turner, her voice was gentle. We found Maya. She's safe. She's at the hospital being checked out. Lamar nearly collapsed with relief. But there's something else. He looked up. Olivia Sinclair was found at the Mercer estate. She took an overdose of sleeping pills. No. The paramedics tried to revive her, but she was unresponsive for too long. No. I'm sorry, Mr. Turner. Olivia Sinclair was pronounced dead at 5:47 p.m. Lamar's knees gave out. He sank to the floor of the police station. The woman who'd knocked on his door. The woman he'd fed with his last meal. The woman who'd made him feel something he hadn't felt since Janelle died. Gone. Maya ran to him from down the hallway, threw her arms around his neck. Daddy! Daddy, I was so scared! Lamar held his daughter, and for the first time since Janelle's funeral, he cried. Deep, racking sobs, the kind that tear you apart from the inside. I'm sorry, he whispered. To Maya, to Olivia, to Janelle, to everyone he couldn't save. I'm so sorry. He didn't know. He couldn't have known. 3 miles away, in the city morgue, Dr. Sarah Williams was waiting. And at exactly 3:00 a.m., Olivia Sinclair's body bag began to move. He thought she was dead. He thought he'd lost her forever. But death isn't always the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning of revenge. For 3 days, Lamar was a ghost. He went through the motions, made Maya breakfast, walked her to school, went to work. But his eyes were empty. At night, he sat alone in the kitchen, staring at the couch where Olivia had slept, at the table where she'd eaten his last meal. Maya found him crying once. Daddy? Are you sad about Miss Livy? Yeah, baby. I'm sad. I'm sad, too. Maya climbed into his lap. She was really nice. She made the hurt go away. Lamar held his daughter close. He'd known Olivia for less than a week, but somehow she'd cracked open something in him, something he'd sealed shut when Janelle died. And now that crack was bleeding. City morgue, 3:00 a.m. The body bag unzipped from the inside. Olivia sat up, gasping, choking, heart pounding. Dr. Sarah Williams was there instantly, checking her vitals, helping her breathe. Easy, easy. You're okay. The drug worked exactly as planned. Olivia's voice was raw. How long was I out? 12 minutes of cardiac arrest, long enough to fool everyone. Sarah handed her water. Maya is safe. The police have her. And Lamar? Sarah's expression softened. He thinks you're dead. He's not taking it well. Olivia closed her eyes, pain washing over her. I need to see him. Not yet. Julian is still being questioned. We need to finish this first. Finish what? Sarah pulled out a folder. Victoria Sinclair, your stepmother. I've been gathering evidence for months. She opened it. Did you know she murdered your father? Olivia went still. What? His car accident. It wasn't an accident. Victoria had his brakes tampered with. I have the mechanic's confession. I have financial records showing she paid him. Olivia's hands shook. She killed my father? And that's not all. Sarah flipped to another page. 25 years ago, Victoria had another husband, Julian's father. He died of natural causes when Julian was 9. She poisoned him. Then she took Julian in, raised him, shaped him. Sarah's voice was grim. Julian isn't just your abuser, Olivia. He's a victim too. Victoria created him. Police station. Interrogation room. Olivia walked in wearing a disguise. Wig, glasses, unrecognizable. Julian was handcuffed to the table. He looked up and screamed, "You're dead! I watched you die!" I have excellent doctors. Julian tried to lunge at her. The cuffs held him back. Olivia slid the folder across the table. Read this. Julian's hands trembled as he opened it. His father's death certificate. Victoria's financial records. The poison she'd used. The insurance payout she'd collected. No, Julian whispered. No, this isn't real. She killed your father, Julian, when you were 9 years old. Then she took you in and turned you into this. Olivia's voice was cold. You think the violence in you is natural? She made you this way. She trained you, molded you. She loved me. She raised me. She raised a weapon, a tool, something she could use to control me and get access to my fortune. Julian was shaking now, his whole body trembling. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I believe you. Olivia leaned forward. But that doesn't excuse what you did to me. The bruises, the broken bones, the terror. I know. I know it doesn't. You're going to prison, Julian. For kidnapping Maya. For assault. For everything. He nodded. Broken. But before you go, you have a choice. Help me take down Victoria. Testify against her. Or spend the rest of your life knowing the woman who killed your father is still free. Julian looked up. For the first time, Olivia saw something human in his eyes. I'll testify. The monster had become human. The dead had come back to life. And now there was only one person left to face. The woman who had orchestrated everything from the beginning. Victoria Sinclair's estate, 8:00 p.m. Victoria was packing when they came for her. Suitcases full of cash, fake passports, an escape plan 20 years in the making. But she wasn't fast enough. Olivia walked through the front door. Behind her, Lamar, Julian, Detective Collins, a full police squad. It's over, Victoria. Victoria's eyes narrowed. You're supposed to be dead. I learned from the best. You taught me that death can be faked. Victoria laughed. Bitter. Venomous. You think you've won? You think any of this matters? She reached into her jacket, pulled out a small revolver. I built this family. I made the Sinclair name worth something, and I'll burn it all down before I let you take it from me. But she didn't aim at Olivia. She aimed at the door, where Mrs. Patterson had just appeared. Drop the gun, Mrs. Sinclair. Mrs. Patterson's voice was steady, calm. It's over. You. Victoria's voice dripped with contempt. You useless old woman. I should have disposed of you years ago. You should have, but you didn't. Victoria raised the gun. Mrs. Patterson moved. She lunged at Victoria, a small knife hidden in her sleeve. She drove it into Victoria's arm. Victoria screamed. The gun went off. Mrs. Patterson fell. Lamar reached her first. Mrs. Patterson lay on the floor, blood spreading across her chest. "Lamar!" Her voice was fading. "I'm sorry. For everything. Don't talk. Save your strength." "No." She grabbed his hand. "I need you to know. I was wrong. I was so scared of losing my home that I lost myself." Her eyes found his. "Don't ever let fear turn you into someone you're not." Lamar's tears fell on her face. "I forgive you. I forgive you." Mrs. Patterson smiled. "Tell Maya. Tell her I loved her. Like my own grandchild." "I will. I promise." "And Lamar?" "Yes?" "Be happy. Janelle would want you to be happy." Her eyes closed. Her hand went limp. Mrs. Lorraine Patterson was gone. Lamar held her and wept. Victoria was handcuffed, dragged away, screaming. The evidence was overwhelming: murder, fraud, conspiracy. She would spend the rest of her life in prison. Julian watched her go, his face empty. "I loved her," he said quietly. "I thought she loved me." Olivia stood beside him. "Monsters don't love, Julian. They consume." "What happens to me now?" "You testify. You serve your time. And maybe you find out who you were supposed to be before she broke you." Julian nodded. For the first time in his life, he looked like a human being. The villains were gone. The truth was exposed. But the hardest battle was still ahead. The battle to build something new from the ashes of everything they'd lost. 6 months later, grand opening day. The sign above the door read, "Janelle's Table," a small restaurant, warm lighting, the smell of home cooking, and photos on every wall. Janelle Turner, smiling her radiant smile. Richard Sinclair, distinguished, kind, Mrs. Lorraine Patterson, the woman who'd made mistakes but died trying to fix them. Lamar stood in the kitchen, white chef's coat, his name embroidered on the chest. Jerome worked beside him, head chef, best friend, brother in everything but blood. Maya ran through the dining room, helping set tables, Honey the rabbit tucked under her arm. And Olivia, standing at the hostess stand, welcoming guests, smiling like she'd finally found where she belonged. The door opened. Julian walked in. He was wearing a prison jumpsuit, handcuffs on his wrists, 2 officers escorting him. The room went quiet. "I asked for 5 minutes," Julian said, "before I start my sentence." Lamar nodded. "Speak." Julian looked at Olivia. "I don't deserve forgiveness. I know that. What I did to you, there's no excuse." He swallowed hard. "But I want you to know, I'm going to spend every day trying to be different. In prison, I'm starting a program for men like me, men who were taught that violence was love, men who need to learn another way." Olivia studied him. "That's a start." "It's all I have." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Take care of her," he said to Lamar. "She deserves someone good." Lamar nodded. "I know." Julian was led away. The door closed behind him. At night. Rooftop of Grayson Heights. Lamar and Olivia sat side by side, the city spread out below them, stars above. Lamar held the chain around his neck, Janelle's ring. "She told me something once," he said. "She said, if I go first, don't turn your heart into a museum. Let it be a home." He unclasped the chain, held the ring in his palm. "I'll always love her. She made me who I am." "I know," Olivia said softly. "But I love you too." He met her eyes. "You knocked on my door bleeding and broken. You brought chaos and danger and everything I didn't want. But you also brought light. You made me feel alive again. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. I'm terrified, she whispered. Everyone I've ever loved has hurt me. I won't hurt you. I promise. He took her hand. Stay. Build something with me. Not because of money or power or any of that, just stay. Olivia looked at him. This man who'd given her his last meal, who'd faced his demons to protect her, who'd loved her before he knew her name. I'll stay, she said. They kissed. And somewhere Lamar was certain Janelle was smiling. 1 year later. The apartment was bigger now, nicer, but still in Grayson Heights. Olivia had bought the building, turned it into affordable housing, made sure no one would ever be evicted for being poor. At dinner, Maya looked up from her plate. Miss Livy? Are you my new mommy? Olivia's breath caught. Do you want me to be? Yes, but Honey says you have to promise to stay forever. I promise. Maya smiled. Okay then. You're my mommy now. On the wall, 4 photos hung side by side. Janelle, Richard, Mrs. Patterson, and the new family. Lamar, Olivia, and Maya, past and present, loss and hope, endings and beginnings, together. That night, when the knock came, Lamar could have ignored it. He could have kept his last meal for himself. He could have protected his secrets. But he opened the door. He gave what he had. He faced what he feared. And it changed everything. Sometimes the person you save will save you right back. Sometimes the one who betrays you will die to make it right. Sometimes your enemy is also a victim. And sometimes the last meal you give away becomes the first meal of a brand new life. So I want to ask you, when was the last time you opened the door for someone who needed help? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story moved you, if it made you think or cry or believe in second chances, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because every story here is about the same thing, the power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. See you in the next one.